Hi, it's Amy and Tim from Go With Less, and we are back today to continue. We're very close to wrapping up how we retired in our 40s. We're on part 18, and I wanted to address, we're planning to do daily videos on YouTube, and that's our expectation for ourselves, but the past 2 days we were super duper busy, and sometimes life just gets in the way. So we were at the gym, we were cooking a lot, and then on Thursday we went and met with a super duper blogger. So I wanted to give out a shout out to some really great blogs before we get started. So stay tuned just for a second. But one is Ott's World, OTTSworld.com, ottsworld.com. She talks about travel in an unbelievable way. She gave us some help, and hopefully you'll be seeing the result of her education for us on our videos, just in terms of technique and things like that. Yesterday we drove like an hour and a half, which is a little far, to a meetup event of FIRE people. FIRE, I probably have said it, but I'll say it again. Financially independent, retired early. So it's people who are both FIRE, which we are, as well as interested in being FIRE and learning about the community. And some of our favorite bloggers and podcasters were there. So if you've heard, there's a huge, like my favorite blogger, period, favorite, and we have a ton of them. I mean, this is the community we're in. My favorite is Mr. Money Mustache, and we were at his building, and so I got to have a nice chat with him, which is a biggie. He's the most inspirational person in this movement, like, imaginable. If you get a chance to go read him, go read his blog, because his writing is like perfection. We also were with Carl from 1500 Days, because he was giving 1500 days before he retired, and he's retired, and he's awesome. And his wife Mindy, who works at Bigger Pockets. So if you do real estate, Bigger Pockets is the place for real estate. And she just started a podcast called Bigger Pockets Money, which she's amazing on that, and she's super like chill and wonderful. And then we also saw Sean Marone from Two Frugal Dudes, and we were on his podcast a few months ago. So he has a great podcast with a buddy of his. And speaking of podcasts, we're hopefully going to be on Mindy's show in the next several months. So those are some good resources for people who are hitting it out of the park. And so we spent time with them. It was a long day, so we didn't get to do our podcast. Apologies, and we're going to get right into it. Sorry about that.
Our video.
Yeah.
You said podcast.
Oh, our video. Sorry, our video.
There you go. So what we wanted to address today was yet the last time we had a video, so we didn't mention something that was important in the video, and that was that in 2016, is that the year we covered before? So in 2016, that was our first full year of living on our reduced budget. So when we left our work and we decided to move out of our big house and sort of walk away from our big inflated lifestyle. So 2016 was our first full year of living on this reduced budget. And so that year we spent roughly less than $50,000 that year.
So 50 is our budget, was our budgeted amount. And here's the thing, we didn't know if we could do it, so we never lived on that together in Colorado. Like, I might have lived on that when I was 22 years old or 25 years old as a single person with a rental and no car. But could I do this? Could we do this? Would we like it?
Yep. And so we made that leap off the cliff with
in 2015.
In 2015 with the hope that everything was going to work out from what we think we can spend in our new lifestyle. And so that was the first year to make that happen. And so when I say we spent less than $50,000, that also included $6,000 worth of deductible that we had to pay for insurance that year, because I had back surgery and we ate through that deductible the entirety of my portion.
And we each have $6,000. So that was right. We just touched his. So we didn't touch mine on that year.
We burned the whole $6,000 that year.
Your whole $6,000 is a big deal, because we could have had another $6,000 for me.
That's exactly right.
Which
well,
we
didn't have 12.
Woo!
We had
Knock
6.
on wood. Well, I guess it's passed. Continued health.
That's right. So that year was our first full year to do that. I know I repeated that several times, but so it was just good news walking away from that year. Aside from my surgery, it was great news walking away from that year, understanding that our plan is working, or at least the budget part or our spending part, or what we said we're going to spend, what we believe we can spend, it worked. And not only that, it was our first time to really experience what it was like to live with spending less money, substantially less money.
And not just spending less, living in smaller space. Like,
that's right.
Less. That's where we're going with less.
Less, that's right. And so it was an amazing year. And so our life continues to get better. It seems like the less we spend. And so, as a matter of fact, I think we sort of kick ourselves now, looking back in hindsight. So I think our inflated lifestyle actually gave us some insight into something we wouldn't, if we didn't have the money to spend and we didn't have this inflated lifestyle that was something we thought we wanted in our life, then we might still think, well, if we just had a little more income, we could have a little more, we could have a little more. And I can tell you, being on the other side of that, we are so much happier now in our smaller space and with our reduced spending versus when we were spending a lot more money. We had bigger space, we had fancier cars, we dined out more. Those
bought
things,
clothes.
But that's right. So it just didn't. It didn't add to our life, and so
it detracted.
It detracted.
But I want
to
jump in before I don't want to go too long today. But I want to talk about some specifics. So we had a 3-car attached. So like of the before and after, we had a 3-car attached garage. That's super duper helpful. We have 2 cars, and we live in Colorado, and now we have a 1-car detached garage. That was like, how was that going to be? It was so it's not the best. I'll be honest about that one. That's probably the biggest deal of what we have, because one of our cars is sitting outside. It's the car we use the most often, so it's covered in snow when it's bad weather, and the other car is sitting in the garage, barely touched. So we wouldn't right now own 2 cars. We wouldn't buy 2 cars now, but we're kind of just going to keep them. We have a daughter, so we need to have some flexibility, and each adult needs a car because of our having a daughter. As soon as she's out, we're probably going to go down to the 1 car and just coordinate that. But so when we have our garage, we have no more yard to maintain. So our HOA takes care of all the mowing, all the lawn work, all the shoveling of snow. So whenever there's any snow beyond like 1 or 2 inches, they take care of it up to our doorstep, which is
so every time it snowed when we were back in our old house, I had to spend 45 minutes to an hour cleaning up our drive, cleaning up the sidewalk, just dealing with the snow before we could back out of the garage in the morning.
And isn't that funny? Because Tim was gone 4 days every week, and it didn't just snow on those 3 days. That's right. So just putting that out there, it wasn't just that it snowed on those 3 days and he was the only one who did this. Yeah. He likes to think he was the only one who did this. 4 days a week I was by myself, and it is Colorado. So somehow that was miraculously cleaned.
But
yes.
not only that, but yard work, so there was always something in the yard to do. So whether it was, I had to build a berm because the back of our yard actually washed down, and
every time it rained.
Away every time it rained.
And then
so I had to do that. We had to plant trees. We had to take care. We had to water because our watering system didn't work. So dealing with our yard, and I liked some parts of that. So I liked being out in the yard and taking care of it. But it took a crazy amount of time.
And we didn't use it.
And I didn't necessarily love it. I sort of liked it, and so.
It was
cathartic to be out there watering the yard, but that's right, we weren't in our yard very much.
And then we used to like to entertain, so we used to have giant groups over for most holidays. We used to have 50 to 100 people in our giant house. Now we have 1 total table, so we're not having 50 to 100 people over. We can't even have 5 people over. We can have 4 people over because our table fits 6 people and we're 2. If our daughter's here, we can have 3 people over. So our whole entertaining has shifted quite dramatically, but what I like about that is that instead of having 100 people where I'm constantly getting new toilet paper and helping people find their coats and finding a serving spoon and all that stuff, I can now sit and visit with our guests and spend one-on-one time. So we're finding that we are taking more time. So we're still entertaining, probably more than we ever have, just on a much smaller scale. So that's been really nice. We don't have like big giant like there's things that we gave up wouldn't be the right word, traded in. And so everything, all of our rooms are much smaller. We've said before, we use every inch of our new space, and that works great for us. So as far as how did things go on the other side of 2016 after we did it, A+, like this was a go. So we're gonna wrap it up. It's actually way long. I'm apologizing for that now. You had 2 days of no video, so now we got a long one. So thank you for watching. Please give a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe down below, and if you ask any comments, any questions, leave any comments. We reply to every one of those, so please leave a comment. Thanks so much for watching.